So I'm heading out to the Savage River this weekend. It's early January, supposed to be above freezing all day Saturday, but raining most of the day. Now, side note, I fished the river 5 times between Thanksgiving and Christmas and caught fish every time, which is a little bit out of the ordinary, at least for me anyway. So if I want to keep my streak alive and dry fly fish, which I usually do, I'm going to be fishing midges. Now, I've got a couple that have worked for me through most of December, but I wanted to try something new, and I found one in Bruce Staples' Trout Country Flies. He's got one in here called the snowfly, and I'd never heard of a fly called the snowfly, but apparently out west, some of these small black midges will actually land on the snow-covered rocks, and they've kind of gotten the name snowflies. Now, there's not much on the history of this exact pattern, but it's been around since the 1920s, so it's about 100 years old. And it's a pretty simple tie. The tail is either black or red hackle fibers, muskrat body, a black hackle up front, and then a little bit of white calftail tied trude style. So it's not a hard pattern at all, except tying it on a size 20, which makes everything a little bit harder. So I'm going to give it a shot this weekend, and I'll let you know if I have any luck with it. So there we go in the vise, a snowfly. And one interesting note about this pattern is the recipe says the tail is either black or a red. I'm going to go with the black because I don't see why red makes a whole lot of sense for a winter midge. Now that's a size 20 standard length barbless dry fly hook. I'm going with a black 52 denier thread. We'll just catch this in somewhere in the middle, take it back here to the start of the bend. And I'm going to use a black hackle fibers for the tail, and that doesn't look like too many, but you look at this end, it's at least 8 or 10 fibers. So sometimes just roll them around your fingers, spread them out a little bit. It's not going to be a long tail, but you know, it's not insignificant either. So maybe a body length. Let's put a couple wraps, check that. Yep, I think that's going to be fine right there. So a couple wraps right here just to get them secured. We'll snip this excess. And put your thread back here at the front of the tail and put a little wax on if you want. We're dubbing it with muskrat, so don't necessarily need to. Muskrat's pretty oily. I got a little patch here, and I will just snip a small little tuft off and pull the underfur out. That's what you get right there. And a small little noodle here. If you were using a synthetic dubbing here, yeah, you probably definitely would want some wax on, but you know, you don't necessarily need it with the muskrat. I do have it because why not? So let's go ahead and dub this up. I'd say about 2/3, and get a taper if you want. If you don't, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And I got a little tuft hanging out right there. So what do you do when you have something like that? Just snip it. There we go, and that'll be just fine. And for the wing, just a small bit of white calftail tied in trude style. Go ahead and put it in your stacker if you want. Doesn't always stack that well, but it doesn't hurt to try. Let's see, I think we're got one rogue fiber right there. The rest of them are probably stacked pretty well. Now it's not going to take much, which, well, can't use much. It's a size 20. So we'll get that, maybe a body length right there, maybe a little past the bend of the hook. Catch it in with a couple wraps and check it. Okay, I think that's going to be just fine. A few more going back to really secure this. Now we'll snip the excess up front. And if you have a little step down, you could go ahead and spend a couple of wraps right there just trying to smooth this out. Probably not a real big deal. And the front hackle, just black dry fly hackle. Pretty small feather. I'm going to catch it in right up here in front of that wing. Try to catch it in right anyway. So a few wraps to secure that, and we're not going to put too many wraps. I'd say maybe 3 if we can get them. Sometimes you might only need 2. I'm going to use my hackle pliers here, so let's go ahead and we'll put 3 down and see what it looks like. Okay, that's 3, and I think that will definitely float this fly. So let's catch this off. Let's take a couple extra wraps, make sure we got that stem secured there. And now we should have some room for our whip finish. So there we go. Smallest drop of head cement if you wanted. Maybe a little bit of cleanup. Or not. I'm going to leave this one as is. So I appreciate you watching, everybody. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.